Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fully Managed Podcast. Thank you, Sam, so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Shannon, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Can't wait for
Thank
this.
you. Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, today we're going to start with a game. We're going to get our creative juices flowing, and we're going to have a great time. So I think this is perfect for you. I hope at least. It's called Post It or Pass It.
Oh, okay.
So Post it. Okay, obviously. I think that it's self-explanatory, but I'll go over it anyway, just in case there's any misconceptions. Okay. Post it is meaning it's worth sharing. And you think it aligns with like a personal brand, like building your personal brand. And then pass would be it's overdone, off-brand, or like just not necessary, ineffective, whatever you think. This is obviously opinion-based. No one get upset. Sam's opinions are golden, and we're going to be understanding. Okay.
It's opinion-based, but I am right.
you are right. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Is it quick fire? Like, are you going to fire them at me? Quick fire or?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you ready? Okay. These are all like quotes, I would say, like the kind of headlines for the post. Okay.
Sure.
Here's what 5 a.m. cold showers taught me about leadership.
Pass.
Okay, good. That was a test, and you passed. Okay. Why firing my best client was the best thing I ever did.
Post it.
Why?
Because it's unexpected. So unexpected content tends to get a lot of interest because those two things don't normally go together. That's not normally a good thing. It's not something you'd normally do. So it's going to stop people scroll and get them to consume the content. And it's got an opportunity for you to share your opinion or educate people.
I like that. I think that there's a good mix of clickbait, but also something that's valuable. And I think that is a good one because it's not totally shocking in a way where you're like, this is gimmicky and I'm not going to click on it because I think it's fake. It's like,
I think they're probably all going to be conditional to some extent, right? Like if it's actually happened, then I'd say post that one.
Maybe if it's I think that there's some realities that are the headline is so unusual that you won't click on it just because you're like, oh, that seems like it's trying to catch me, so I'm just gonna scroll past. Okay. Next one. 3 lessons from losing insert large sum of money here on a bad business decision.
Post it. If it's long enough ago in the past, if it's a recent thing that's happened, pass. Yep. But if it's like a few years ago, post it.
No, that makes complete sense. I like that important tidbit there because I'm like, sometimes people can be a little too transparent about something that just happened that may affect them negatively in the public eye. And I think that maybe that's not the best time for you to be, letting people know that you're really messing up.
Exactly. Only talk about your failures retrospectively.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I mean, it's nice to be transparent, but of course, like in every sense, there is still people that will pass judgment and it might affect your business. Exactly. Yeah, I understand. Okay, every founder should stop using LinkedIn like a resume.
Post it. Because it's firstly, I agree, but also it's a big, bold claim. If you just said in that post, founders don't use LinkedIn like a resume, it's really boring. But the fact you're saying every founder should, it's a big, bold claim that's going to get attention.
I like a controversial post on LinkedIn. There's many. I run into many, actually. I enjoy LinkedIn. I didn't like it for a long time because I was like, professional platform for social media kind of seems counterintuitive, like doesn't make sense to me. But I find it very entertaining now, the more I'm involved.
It is indeed.
Okay, last one. Here's a list of 10 books every CEO should read before the age of 30.
I'm going to say pass. Pass it. The reason, if this was recorded 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said post it because that style of content was working really, really well at that time. But I just think that specific topic has been overdone now. And whilst it's cool, it's quite interesting, it wouldn't get the performance that you want.
I think that's really fair. I would say maybe it would help if you said 3 books.
Yeah.
Also for reading through it. I think if 10 books, I would stop at 2 and I'd be like, okay, it's a long list.
I'm not going to read them all.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you actually want people to engage too, maybe 10 is a little too many.
Yeah.
So thank you for playing my game. I think you did wonderfully. Everyone should do exactly what Sam says. And yep, his word is Bible, and that we should continue to do that.
I love the game. Thanks for letting me play the game. It was good.
Yeah, of course. So on this topic of, all of these phrases involved in personal branding that may work and may not, what do you think personally is the biggest misconception people have about personal branding, especially in like the B2B world?
Yeah, so personal branding is not about chasing fame or trying to be someone you're not, or like just boosting your ego, trying to be an influencer in like the traditional Instagram influencer sense that we typically think. It's about framing the skills, the experience, the personality, the values you already have in the best way possible, right? You're not trying to be something you're not. You're just trying to frame what you have to offer in the best way possible, because a lot of people are really, really good at what they do. They're experts in the industry. They've got loads of experience. They've got loads of amazing results behind them, but they just don't talk about it. And because they don't talk about it, nobody knows. And whilst, yeah, maybe like 5-10 years ago, just doing good work was enough and your work would kind of do the talking, the world is far more competitive now. And if you don't do the talking for your work and put yourself out there, people just won't realize it. And then you're going to get overshadowed by other people who probably aren't as good as you just because they were willing to put themselves out there. So yeah, it's about framing the skills, experience, and expertise you have in the best way possible.
I think that's a really good point, especially about people that have incredible expertise but just don't really express it. Maybe on social media, maybe because they're on the older end and they don't know how to, or it's just not for them. I've talked to such incredible people on the podcast that have like no LinkedIn presence at all, and I find out that they're like the coolest person ever and they've done such amazing work, but I would not know looking at their profile on LinkedIn.
That's exactly it. I speak to them every single day, and it's because they've spent their lives building their careers, building their businesses, right? Not talking about it online, which is totally valid. But now the world is very different, and I think if you're not talking about it online, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially, I mean, there's a point where maybe you're in your career where you don't need people's attention, I guess. But I think that especially when you're a founder and you're trying to get more business and you're trying to get in the face of people, I think that it's only beneficial to be, seen.
It's never been a negative thing to have more people know who you are, like you, and trust you. Like I can't see a world where that's not useful, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Especially liking and trust part. Like a lot of people can know you, but not a lot of people might like you. And that's important to definitely gear your expertise towards maybe not everyone liking you, but being able to be, a thought leader or like an expert in your field.
Exactly. Having the right people in your audience is the main thing.
Speaking of the term thought leader, how do you feel about it? Because I feel like some people think it's an overused term or that it's not something that people should really define themselves as with all the noise now. What do you feel about that phrase?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like personal brand, right? It's just been overused and misconstrued so many times that people don't have the right definition of it. I think a lot of people regurgitate content that has already been produced hundreds of times online and call themselves a thought leader. But that is the exact opposite of being a thought follower, because you're not actually creating anything new yourself. But if you are publishing your own opinion online, publishing like philosophies, ideas, processes you have that you've created, you've come up with, and they are personal, then I think you can theoretically call yourself a thought leader, or you will become considered a thought leader. But there's a lot of people that are doing the very opposite of thought leadership and calling themselves thought leaders, which is where the problem comes in.
Yes, this age of AI generated posts is definitely a lot of regurgitation. I think that it's important to, I think personalization is more important than anything now, though, because of that noise. Like you can almost immediately recognize when something is not created actually by that person. And I think that it's more identifiable because of the amount of kind of like rubbish there is in the the online community. So I think that you know, what you do makes even more sense now than ever.
And there are signs, right? When someone's just regurgitated content or they've used AI, there are some obvious signs. And I think people obviously do it because it's efficient, like it's quick. Naturally, people don't want to spend time and effort creating content. So it is efficient. And we're kind of on that pendulum swing of people using AI loads and loads and loads to create content. I think the pendulum will swing back and people will start to value lower volumes of higher quality content where it's actual personal opinion a lot more, and there'll almost be like the kickback to AI where people only want to consume content that is clearly written by a human and is full of human opinion rather than like just regurgitated AI framework.
I hope so. That's my hope. I do think so though, because I think people do value a personal touch. And even speaking of, how do you kind of balance that? Like, so I talk to a lot of founders. A lot of them are in similar industries, specifically like marketing agencies, and a lot of them do have similar opinions or ways of doing things. How do you kind of showcase an individual that may have like a similar outlook as another or many others while also being personal?
Yeah, so I think it's very difficult for someone to have the exact same combination of opinions, ideas, but also experiences, expertise, like proof points, so actual like case studies, results, the same audience. It's very rare that you're going to get someone that has the same exact unique combination of all of those things as you do. So for us, it's about working with the clients that we work with to actually find that kind of sweet spot where no one else can really compete, and you have that marketable one. So we might have clients, right, or might see people online that have the same idea about something, but we can apply one to a completely different industry or a slightly different audience. Or maybe we talk about the same idea, but they've got different personal stories behind it or different personal stories as to why they believe that idea. So it's about finding that unique combination. But also remembering that like not every single piece of content you put out has to be entirely unique, groundbreaking insight that nobody has ever said before. You don't have to do it every time. Of course, you want to do it. You want to feed it into your content, and you don't want to get to a place where you're just saying the same thing as everyone else every single day. But not every post has to like change the world. It could just be a post that makes someone laugh and remember you, or like flicks a switch in people's brains. They come back to your content the next time. Content, you can publish thousands and thousands of pieces of content over your lifetime, right? Not every single one has to change the world.
Yeah, no, I like that outlook because I think that's kind of, I think a lot of people miss the mark in trying to do that every time. And I think that might take a little too much time and effort if you're just trying to, you know, come up with the most unique idea possible. Because I think in this day and age, maybe everything has kind of been thought of and before, and that's okay. We're all humans. We all have similarities. We've all been in similar life experiences. You know, everyone's different in some way. But I agree with you that the way in which you put it is what's that little unique part, is that like we can have the same opinions, but we can't necessarily have the same perspectives all the time because no one's lived identical lives.
Yeah, exactly. A great example, right, is me and you, we agreed on quite a few of those post ideas in the game we played, right? So we have the same opinion on some of those things. Your opinion maybe was formed after interviewing hundreds of people. My opinion maybe was formed after writing posts for hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Same opinion, but different as to how we've come to that. And that like personal nuance will allow some people to connect with you and engage with your content a little bit better, and some people to engage with my content a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think there's a lot of people that will say very similar things, but the thought itself is not necessarily what people to relate to. It's like the story behind it, in which, you know, that is, and I think that is what actually showcases a personal brand, is like the story that encompasses what they are and who they are, rather than just, you know, their opinions on something or like why they think something is the way it is, because everyone can kind of have that, but they don't necessarily have the meaning behind it.
Exactly. And stories are like one of the most reliable and most powerful forms of communication. Probably the earliest ever form of communication was stories. We would draw stories on like cave walls. We weren't, you know, we're not teaching people about leadership on cave walls. We're telling stories on cave walls, right? So we are like naturally ingrained to consume stories and to relate to people who tell stories and connect with them. So absolutely, your story is like complete competitive advantage for you.
Yeah, I completely agree. Even with like, so touching on what we said before and also what we're discussing right now is people that we both mentioned like have incredible expertise, like very smart, accomplished people. What do you think for the most part that you see is getting in the way of them, you know, authentically showing themselves online?
Yeah. So one of the most interesting one I see is a huge amount of imposter syndrome and worrying what other people
Mm.
will think. And it gets worse the more successful the person is. Like most
Oh no.
successful clients we speak to, they don't want to share it. They have this really weird kind of imposter syndrome, or they don't want to come across as egotistical, which is crazy because any, you know, the average human would look at them and go, oh my gosh, what you've done in your career is amazing. But they just think, you know, is it that interesting? Does anyone really want to listen to me? So that's a big one, getting in your own head about, will people actually listen to me? Will this come across the wrong way? Time is a natural one, right? It tends to be the thing that falls to the bottom of the to-do list. If you've got
Mhm.
clients or team meetings or something, you know, building a personal brand naturally or historically has been the thing that gets dropped. I think it's becoming more and more important now, and people are starting to prioritize it. But time is a big one, and also just like not knowing how to get thoughts onto paper. A lot of people have lots of great ideas that come into their mind, but actually articulating them and communicating them with other people is really, really challenging. So I'd say those are the three biggest ones.
You got to be like Mariah Carey with the Christmas song that, you know, when she just recorded that in like the doctor's office or something. I can't remember. I don't know how relevant this is to
And then
you
she
not
comes
being
out
in the
every Christmas with it.
yeah, okay, but everyone knows that song, right? I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand everything that you're saying. Especially, I really love the touch on the ego part because I never really thought about that as being an element of why people wouldn't post. I It makes a lot of sense, but it also I guess I thought that imposter syndrome would maybe just go away once you got a certain level of
It
successful,
was.
but no.
Makes no sense, but it gets worse. It is really
Yeah,
funny.
because people are looking up to you anyway, so it almost makes more sense for you to, you know, like share your knowledge and experience. But I understand the fear of, okay, well, if people already like me for my accomplishments, why share more and possibly ruin that
I put
by
yourself
doing
out there, right? Yeah, which I get. But it's really it's not egotistical at all. It's probably the most selfless thing you can do is if you are
help
successful,
other
is share
people?
your opinions and
Mhm.
advice with the rest of the world. And what better platform to do it on than social media, where you can literally reach anyone in any corner of the world from the comfort of your own home. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, how do you have those conversations with those people? Of course, if they're coming to you, then they clearly want to go through with something like this. But do you ever have conversations with maybe people that are wary in that way of sounding a certain way, or coming off as standoffish in the way in which they're speaking about what they're knowledgeable about? Like, how do you talk to them about kind of working through that?
Yeah, a lot of clients will come to us with that very problem, right? Where they know they need to do it, but it's not comfortable for them. And we joke with them a lot of the time that they pay for the personal branding, but the therapy is free. So we're almost part-time therapists for our clients, and we have to like coach them through it and gradually
Aw.
ease them into it, which is it's all part of the job. So yeah, it's for those people, it's about not trying to go to level 100 straight away, like not putting your boldest opinion out in your first piece of content, because you're just never going to get over that hurdle. Like they're not going to get over it's a mountain, right, that they're not going to get over. It's a case of building it up over time. Maybe playing it a little bit safer on the first few pieces of content you put out, just to get the familiarity of posting, get in the habit of doing it, start to bring that barrier down a little bit. And then once you've put out a few weeks worth of content, you'll be firing them off and you won't even think about it. I still remember when I was posting my first post on LinkedIn, and bear in mind, I was like 19 at the time. I was literally like,
how old are you? Can I ask? Is that
25
rude?
now. I know. Can you imagine being on LinkedIn as a 19-year-old?
Oh my goodness. They made me get it in college, and I was like, I hate this. I don't ever want to use
I was I was early to be fair. And yeah, I was literally shaking as I put my first post. I was so nervous. But now I don't even think about it. Like I just schedule and I forget that I've even posted. So you just got to like build up to it over time.
Yeah, would you suggest like a gradual, like for someone that has never really been someone posting before, maybe like they only reposted things on their LinkedIn previously or didn't post their own content, would you recommend like a gradual like a gradual way of growing towards actually posting often, like maybe like once a week or something like that to get used to it?
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is go from 0 to I'm going to post every single day, because you'll probably do it for 2 weeks and then get sick of it, hate the process, give up, and then come back 3 months later and you've not posted again and you've got to start the whole process again.
Yeah.
You're better off doing like 1 or 2 times a week, get used to that. Once you've done that for a month, go to 2 or 3 times, then go to 3 to 4 and build it up that way. I think building, because it's a habit as much as anything, right? And you've got to build that up. So 100% build up gradually.
Yeah, you don't want to get burned out too, because I think that's something that, especially people putting it on the back burner already because they don't feel like they have the time or they don't want to put the effort towards it. If they're putting too much of that aside to be able to accomplish that and meet whatever goal they set for themselves for posting that maybe be unrealistic for their workload, then of course it's probably going to set them up for failure,
Exactly.
like moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever had a post for a client go unexpectedly viral? Like something that you really didn't, you thought it would just be something normal and it...
We probably have. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I have one myself, actually.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. Okay, do that instead.
I did have one myself where I literally said, you will, I think the post was, you'll solve more problems on a 15-minute walk than you will in an hour in front of your desk. Go for a walk. And it was literally just like stream of consciousness, tweet style. I just thought it and I posted it. There wasn't much like intention behind it. And it was like one of my best performing pieces of content ever. Hundreds of thousands of views, so many comments. I was like, this is not groundbreaking. How has this gone? But I think it must have just been like this mass agreement to what I was saying, and people really got behind it. So that's the most unexpected one I've ever had.
Yeah, I feel like it resonates with people in a way that it's one of those things where if you ever have one of those apps that gives you like a therapeutic quote or like an astrology app or something like that, and it just really hits you that day, I feel like, especially when people are scrolling through LinkedIn and they see something like that, it might have truly helped. Like people who are sitting in front of their, like trying to do something for work that may just be like tedious or like they're not thinking about it in the right way. It might have just been something that resonated with a lot of people of, okay, yeah, maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll get up from my desk and go do that.
Yeah, I guess like the culture of LinkedIn, it fits into quite nicely. It's not the normal LinkedIn post you see. Like it's not, these are the 6 frameworks to do X, Y, Z, or like the B2B sales example, right? Like it's something very different. So yeah, maybe it captured attention because of that, and then just resonated because everyone on LinkedIn is probably going through that exact experience at any one time.
Yeah, it's not it's hard to cater a post for every single person, but especially when it's something that I don't want to say generic because I feel like that takes away from how groundbreaking the post was
You can say
about
generic.
walking for 15 minutes.
No offense is taken if you call it generic.
But I would say when when something can speak to all people, like I think that no one's gonna get angry at you for recommending a walk. I mean, like maybe they will. They probably won't express it on LinkedIn unless they really want engagement in a negative sense because that's strange. But there are people that do cause problems on LinkedIn. They're fun, but I think that when you have something that can kind of resonate with everyone, it's really hard to find something that does that every time. But when you do have it, I think that it's something that's really can be beneficial to everyone because it's just a little advice here during your day.
Yeah, and there's great skill required, but also benefit in speaking quite deeply to one specific audience, which is probably like your target audience, your ICP. You want to speak really deeply to them, but if you can at the same time, without taking away from that, also make it relevant to the masses, i.e. everyone, that's how you get this amazing combination of a huge amount of reach, but also it's not just vanity. You're actually building relationships with the right people and giving advice to the right people. That's like the holy grail of content. If you can do both of those things, hard to do in every post, but there is a lot of value in doing that.
No, that makes a lot of sense because you can still expand your audience while also not like abandoning your ideal audience, which is something that I think people really grapple with when creating content because of course you want to explore like new people, new audiences, especially when you're not really, maybe if you're not really sure what your ideal client is, or like you haven't honed in on that. But you might lose business if you're just abandoning it completely or not like addressing concerns of people that you're already serving.
Exactly. You almost rank your audiences. And I rank current clients and current stakeholders, team members as the highest. They're the ones that you've got to speak to the most, which most people don't even think of. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be saying things that are going to annoy your existing customers or your existing clients.
No, you don't really want
that. 101. And then the second is obviously future customers, future clients. But then there is everybody else under that, which you can still speak to.
Yeah, exactly. I think that ignoring your current customer base is something that people run into actually pretty often, at least when I see people's content creation, because they're reaching so much that they're not realizing what's in front of them. Yeah. And I think that's a big problem with content too. So always being able to address that, I think, is very sound advice, making sure that you're seeing what's there too.
Yeah, I've made all the mistakes. I've done it myself in the past. I once put a post out which was like basically saying that we're about to increase our prices as an agency, but I hadn't told any of my existing clients yet. This was like when I was an early founder, rookie founder, and my advisor said to me, you should maybe not post that or take that down.
We all make that mistake. It's something that I think happens a lot. So I wouldn't knock you for that. Everyone needs learning moments. Well, okay, wait, this is perfect. This is a perfect segue. Okay, so past looking, what is something that you wish you knew when starting Kurogo way back when, that you think would have saved you a lot of time and or money?
Great question. It's just going to be controversial. As a founder, you are 99% of the time going to be right if you trust your instincts and go with what you want to do. It's very, very easy to let other people try and build your vision when actually you're probably the best person to build it. Like you have the most information, insight, you know the business inside out. So I would almost be I was so worried about seeming like dictatorial about leadership that I would try and get everyone's opinion and get everyone to share a point of view, when actually just having your point of view, which is probably right anyway, and going with that is faster. And like, even if you're wrong, you make a mistake, you fix it, you can probably like be wrong, fix it, and get ahead further than if you're trying to get every single person's opinion. So I think in the early stages of business, you need to do that a lot more. As you grow, you start to bring in experts for different areas for sure. But I would have just trusted my gut and made decisions faster, accepting that there would be mistakes a lot quicker.
It goes back to the game, is that Sam is always right. Everyone should listen to all of his opinions and do exactly what he says. No, but I understand what you're saying. It is very difficult to please everyone, and especially when you're I think when you open up something that you really believe in to opinion, it can really muddy what your original objective was. And I think that it's great to always have outside opinion, especially if an idea is really bad and you're a person that really runs with everything. But it's also important that, you know, getting opinions doesn't muddle your vision, because, you know, like, you're a founder for a reason, you know, like, you think in a certain way that maybe other people don't. And so, you know, it's important that your brand reflects that, and sometimes getting too many opinions that can kind of, you know, confuse people.
Exactly. You said it, you're not going to please everyone. And I tried to do that for way too long.
Yeah, no, it's something that is really difficult for the people pleasers of us. And so I completely understand that. So being forward looking, because I always like to end on a forward looking note because we just did past. Okay. What are you excited about for the future?
I'm really excited about there's a new division of Kurogo that's coming. So, bit of context very quickly. Kurogo is a personal brand agency. So we build personal brands for our clients. And we've only really ever had that agency model where we do it for people. But one thing we're working on at the moment, which I'm super excited for, is an education side of the business where we teach people how to do it so that they can do it themselves. And the reason I'm excited about that is because it allows us to help so many more people that otherwise maybe couldn't afford or couldn't logistically justify working with us as an agency. We're going to be able to provide so much value to them, which I'm super excited about. Opens us up to loads more amazing clients and to help loads more people.
I love that. I really value education, and this podcast is a way of doing that too. And for genuinely me to get to learn from so many people too, it's like selfishly the best part about hosting it. So I completely get that. And I hope that it's as enjoyable as you wish it to be. That sounds wonderful. And being able to, it shows a respect and confidence in what you do to be able to share it with people for free. And so I appreciate the efforts towards that. And it's wonderful that you're doing that.
I appreciate it. Very kind of you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining me today. This was a perfect end, forward looking, and we're excited for new things happening.
I loved it. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you. This is absolutely lovely. Thank you everyone for listening and or watching. I hope that you get to check out other episodes to learn like you did from this one. Check out Kurogo in the bio and have a lovely day, everyone.